Okay, now we have the tangent x button, all right, for graph. Notice this is negative pi over 2 over to 3 pi over 2. This is the period I'm going to draw this one on, and there's a reason for it. So first off, let's start tangent with this here. When x is 0, when our radian is 0, our tangent value is 0. So we start right there. But as we move to pi over 6, our tangent becomes the square root of 3 over 3, which is about 0.56, somewhere right in there. Maybe a little bit higher if I'd maybe draw a little more accurately. It's kind of hard to graph some of these things, make it look really nice. And then at pi over 4, it is square root of 2 over 2, which is about 0.7. And then what's going to happen then, no, actually at pi over 4, it's going to be actually at 1. And then at 3 pi over 2, we're going to be about 1.7. And then as we get to pi over 2, we're going to actually have an asymptote. So this graph's going to go up like this right here. Ooh. Well, wait a minute. That's the positive one stuff, right? But what happens if I was to go to, say, negative pi over 4 first? Well, it would be the same values here, but instead of positive, it would be negative. If I did negative pi over 4, it should be at negative 1. Like I said, this graph's not, ignore the numbers right here, the up and down part. Just look at this right here. It should be at negative 1. It's at negative 1.7 if we do the 3 pi over, if you do the square root of 3, negative square root of 3. And what do you notice? And at negative pi over 2, we have an asymptote. At negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, we have an asymptote. And notice the tangent graph kind of what? Snakes up like this. What do you think is going to happen over here? Well, think about it. Here, quadrant 1 is positive. Actually, and this is quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 tangent's negative. This would be actually in quadrant 2 if I move out here. Quadrant 2, what is tangent? It's negative. So I'm going to be close to negative infinity near this asymptote as we start. But as I move into things like at negative pi over 4, I'll be at negative 1. That's actually, this should actually be 2 pi over 3, which is about 1.7. There we should be at negative 1. We'll have about negative 5.66 as we move a little closer. And at pi, tangent is actually negative 1. Now this one did this, so what do you think is going to happen over here? The same thing. The values are going to be the same, except now they're going to be positive. We have an asymptote right here. Notice tangent, the asymptote occurs at the pi over 2's, and they snake up. So there's actually the tangent graph right there. And here's one where I based the graph off of. See this actually negative 2.187. That's why that's more like at negative 1 right there. So the other signs were not quite right on that particular one. So we have this nice little graph right here. So notice tangent occurs at asymptote occur at pi over 2, and I call snake up because as you read from left to right, it is snaking up. All right. And here's a bunch of tangent graphs thrown together from negative 2 pi all the way to 2 pi, and you can see where there would be several asymptotes right along these lines right in there. Okay, those are tangent graphs right there. I call them snake ups. All right, you got to be careful when you're getting a tan and a snake doesn't sneak up on you.